Good morning. I'm so grateful to be with you. I have to start, in case my daughter's watching from Palm Springs. Daddy loves you, my sweetest, perfect pigeon. And also always with Amy, because every time I get a text from you or am in your presence, I'm continued to be reminded of what the real deal is and looks like, and how important it is for any minister to stay in their heart. And that's the only place in God does business, is in one's heart. And so it's not easy, and we deal with everything we deal with as ministers. And so I just continue. Thanks for welcoming me back. I don't speak anywhere else. No one else invites me. And I'm such a big shot. I really am, right? In my own head, I'm such a big shot. I'm such a big shot in my own head. And Rob, this morning, right, when you prayed, I pray that Rev Charles has dealt with himself, that Rev Charles has dealt with himself in such a way that he can be of service. And I just said, I was hoping I heard that right. That I have dealt with myself in such a way that I can be of service. I don't know if what you said after that, but that's what I'm going to say. That I have dealt with myself in such a way that I can be of service to you. That's all I want, is to be of service to you. And that somehow, collectively, individually, and as a collective, each one of us, our lives are a little or a lot better because of our gathering this morning. That's it. Somehow. So I'm constantly seeking to deal with myself. I think that actually summarizes healing in the most simple way that could possibly. Thank you for blessing me this morning with your blessing. That's the simplest way I could say anything about healing, is that for me it's dealing with myself. I mean, there's a lot of self to deal with right here, man. It is a chore to deal with this self every day. I pray for God's grace every day that I can deal with myself in such a way that I can just stand myself, let alone be of service. And I'm not kidding. I mean, all the BS and the stuff and the crud and the crap that I've accumulated over the course of this life it's a lot. So I pray every day that I can deal with myself in such a way that my life is better today than it was yesterday, and tomorrow than it was today. If I make it to tomorrow, guaranteed nothing. I was watching a football game yesterday, because that's what I do in football season, is watch football. And there's a guy from the University of Oregon who won on the team that died from in a rock climbing accident. And the team had all sorts of wonderful tributes to this guy. He wore number 4. So on a football field, at the 4-yard line, if that means anything to you, they colored the hash mark there a different color in honor of the number 4. They wore 4 on the uniforms and things like that. And there was all sorts of honoring. And the announcers said, one said to the other, "You just never know, do you?" And the other one said, "No, you don't. None of us. We can have a wonderful service together. I think the likelihood of anybody getting taken out right here in the next hour is pretty small, but once we get out there on the streets and make our way home, we just don't know. So what a better motivation for me to deal with myself so that my life can be worth something when I die, that somehow it made a difference in service. And I'm such a big shot, I'm going to talk about myself a little bit today, because I think that I've walked a pretty cool path of healing. So I could tell you a story about other people, but I want to talk about myself. Right? I mean, one of the things that I've done in my life, and actually there's this idea. I mean, I know the speak, I know the lingo, I know the what are the things, the cliches, all the stuff that come along with the path of being in Centers for Spiritual Living for my whole life. I've been an ordained minister for a long time. I've been a minister since my early 20s. And, it's one of the things we say, there is nothing to heal, only wholeness to be revealed. There's nothing to heal, only God to be revealed. That actually takes a tremendous amount of maturity to understand that. A maturity, and not that it's good. I mean, there's a place for immaturity. My 9-year-old daughter is in a place of immaturity. It's just the way it is. It's part of growth. It's part of maturation, if you want to call it that. It's part of the process of changing and evolving. I mean, I think I'm only starting to really mature spiritually over the past year or so. I mean, I said all the stuff. I've said that too. There's nothing to heal, only God to reveal. It's like if I was texting with Rob for a minute, about what's the reading going to be. And, if I break my bone, the bone needs to heal. Does it not? I would offer that if the bone's broken, I need to acknowledge that it's broken. There, I got to slide in the talk title for this morning. Acknowledge it's broken. My bone is broken. If I don't acknowledge it, I'm going to try and do things as if it wasn't broken, and I bet we can all agree that's not going to go very well. Yeah? It's going to hurt like hell. I'm not going to be able to walk. The bone's broken. If your heart's broken, we don't just paint it with, oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. In the moment, it sucks. Anybody had their heart broken? It sucks, doesn't it? You might use a different word. I'm going to say it sucks. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. You're lost. I'm lost. I don't know what's up from down. I'll never be loved again, etc., 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 etc. The heart's broken. And we'll go around talking about it. Broke my heart. That broke my heart. It broke my heart. It's broke my heart. For some reason, in my immaturity, as I've walked through the spiritual path, I didn't want to acknowledge things were broken. It's all God. It's all good. Nothing wrong, never was. BS. Something is wrong here. We're killing each other in the street. Something is wrong. Human beings are killing each other in the world. Something's wrong, something's broken. It's all good. Let's just pray and meditate from the mountaintop. And I know I sound like kind of an ass right now. I get into this kind of holier than thou, but I'm a big shot, remember? Let's go to the mountaintop and just meditate and make it all better, No. It's broken. We need to meet on the street corners and talk about healing and making it better. We need to meet in places that matter and talk and heal and make it better. I was talking to a guy this week who's a minister, and he's like, so I've got, I run a caddy program up at a very swanky club on the North Shore, darling. Yes, it's very swanky. And they've got, it's members and a bunch of caddies who serve the members, and one of the caddies, so I manage about 90 caddies, and they carry the bags for the members, right? One of the caddies is a Mormon, and just a little bit about Mormonism, Joseph Smith got some tablets revealed to him, somewhere in the forest or in a meadow or something like that, and the angel of God made himself aware, apparent to Joseph Smith, got some tablets. Who else got some tablets? Moses. Oh, but Moses is the only one that got the tablets. Joseph Smith couldn't possibly have gotten tablets. Moses is the only one that got the tablets. How do you know? Because it's in the Bible. And then it's just like I'm on it. Like this guy was just on it about it. And how many times in life have I been on it about it? Countless times. Right? Something there to me is fundamentally broken in me. Why do I need to prove something so much to somebody else? What is it within me that's broken that so needs to prove myself right? We go through life doing that over and over again, everywhere. I do, forgive me. I do. Because I'm a big shot. So these two are like going at it, right? And I get on it too. Like, how do you know Moses was the only one that got tablets? Joseph Smith did. I don't care about Mormonism. I don't care about fundamental Christianity. I really don't. I don't really care. I care about dealing with myself and being kind and loving. That's really what it boils down to, too, and what I've figured out. All this other organized religion stuff, whatever. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt another. I want to be kind and loving, and I want to walk a little bit softer every day in the world to help heal it, to help heal. And I can only do that by what? Dealing with myself. I call it reconciling myself, but some people go, well, what does reconciling even mean? Like, I don't know. I just know it sounds kind of cool, and you reconcile. Now I'm going to start saying deal. Deal with myself. It's so simple and lovely. Where was I? So these two are going at it. Joseph Smith, and one's a little more timid, docile of a personality. He just, live and let live. Joseph Smith, for him, got the tablets, and it's Mormonism, and here we go. And this guy's, no, the only one that got him was Moses. I'm like, why are you so on it, dude? And so I'm just there, like, first of all, I get mixed up in it. Like, you don't know the Bible, and it was a town context, and all this crap I know intellectually, right? And I even said to him at one point, I said, I know too much to believe in your Jesus. I said it. I'm a big shot. Isn't that bad and good all at the same time? It's such a mixture of bad and good. I said, I know too much to believe in your Jesus. What an ass. I swear, isn't that good? You can't make this stuff up. So anyway, I had to clean that one up. So I just like, because I really don't care, but I just get caught up in the drama of it. Like I know so much, I'm going to prove you wrong or right or whatever I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, in my head, I'm going to maintain my structure of Charles Hallness. When all of it is just an illusion, it's all just my brokenness. Truly. So whatever. Then I started playing peacemaker when I realized I was being an ass. And just like, come on, can't we just, you got your Christian thing over here, you got your Mormon thing over here. Let's pick up a couple bags and go caddy for the members, all right? Let's go. Let's move on. But that's healing. I mean, and there was another opportunity for me in that moment to deal with myself. I mean, I know too much to believe in your Jesus. I mean, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing the same thing. And I love it when I catch myself doing that. Because oftentimes when I get on it and I get right, we see it at this level right here, and then we see it in interpersonal relationships, then we see it in community relationships, then we see it in global relationships. There's some brokenness out there, man. Woman. Otherness. You're right, I'm wrong. And you know what? I'm so right and you're so wrong is I'm going to pick up a gun with a bullet in it that shoots however many 100 miles an hour and try and take you out. Is that not psychotic? That is psychosis. How many people died just in Chicago last week from psychosis? Now, there's a long line of conversation we can have about source of it. But what psychosis am I living in today that I need to heal? But it starts by acknowledging that there's something broken. It's not spiritual. The spiritual path doesn't have to do, I probably say this every time I'm here, it doesn't have anything to do with a rejection of your humanity. To become more spiritual. I don't even know what that means anymore. To embrace our spirituality means to embrace this human path. We become more human. We become more sane. We see that I'm crazy and you're crazy too. So let's have our crazies dance together a little bit more and start talking about some things. Meet on the street corners and have conversations. This is how I view this. This is how you view this. Oh, okay. Let's meet somewhere. Just talk a little bit more. That's healing. But I have to deal with myself every day first, over and over and over again. For me to stand here and say I'm broken isn't some blasphemous statement that goes against the principles of religious science and the Centers for Spiritual Living. And even if you're going to come look me in my face and tell me that, whatever, yeah. I know who I am, now more than ever. I know where I'm broken. I know what led me to alcoholism. I know exactly what led me there. A lack of acknowledgement of where I'm broken. I also know what led me to sobriety is an acknowledgement of where I'm broken. And a welcoming of all of that into who I am, my story. When we cut ourselves off, we thwart ourselves, we retard ourselves. There's a retardant happening. In all of our ugliness, before we put the makeup on, before we do the hair, before we get all pretty and walk out of the house, we still look at ourselves in the mirror and recognize there is a whole person there. And part of that wholeness is all of it. That's maturity. That's spiritual maturity. Not to just pretend everything's okay because that's what the principles say, or that's how I interpret Ernest Holmes or Joel Goldsmith or whoever it was. They had their own walk as a human being. I can promise you. Here's my big shottedness coming out a little bit more. I've walked enough with the spiritual folk, everybody gets pissed off. Everybody gets pissed off. The guy whose book you're reading, I've sat with him. He got pissed off at some point. It's not just, I've elevated my consciousness to such a level where I'm completely unbotherable. Pfft, doesn't exist. Telling you right now. Let's all give ourselves a break. Acknowledge where I'm othering, where I'm making myself wrong, where I'm telling myself I'm bad. There's so much of this that has to do with worth, man. Worth. Like, fundamentally, there's so many of us that aren't attached, that aren't connected. You say wholeness, I say worth. That aren't connected to our worth. Like, I belong here. Just how I am, with all of my craziness. I belong right here, right now. I belong here. But we make each other wrong. We put each other down. We make fun of each other on the playgrounds of our schools. We bully each other, and then we start thinking that there's something wrong with me, and then we start acting out, and then we start acting weird, and then it's just this whole thing that if we don't catch it and just really have an environment where we can welcome ourselves into these places where we think we're wrong, then it just goes way somewhere. For me, it went to just like, man, I was drinking a fifth of Jameson a day. And I had pretty good esteem within the community. I don't know if I hit it well or not, and I don't really care right now anymore either. I'm happy. I don't care who knows. I'm not ashamed of it, but I know what got me there. A fifth of Jameson a day, that's poison, man. That's wild. Plus some beer. And then a little bit of weed on top of it at night. And then I'd pass out on the couch. It's like, I was broken, man. You can't tell me I wasn't. But look at me. I can sit and hear a piece of music and actually feel the depth of love and goodness in my heart and how moved I am by it. And then look at Paige and Tiffany in the eyes and see something spiritual. Man, I'm free. That's good. That's healing. It's joyful. That's healing for me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can so acknowledge you and just feel so in love with you. Because I can deal with myself. And why just a few words, dealt with himself. Is that 3 words? 3 words could heal me again today. Dealt with himself. So my prayer for each one of us is that just, it's just acknowledge that it's broken. It's not acknowledge that I'm wrong, that there's something wrong with me. It's just maybe there's something inside that it can be as objective as a broken leg, going to the doctor, acknowledging that it's broken, and then moving on the path of healing. Not trying to make the adjustments to the broken leg and put more weight on the right for the rest of my life. No, what am I going to do? I'm going to have the leg set. I'm going to make it immobile for a while, right? If my heart's broken, I'm likely not going to just jump into another relationship with somebody. I'm going to probably immobilize the relationship aspect of my life for a little bit while there's a cast around it while I heal. Yeah? And then eventually it heals and it grows back together and it gets stronger, and then I feel like I can go back out there again as a more integrated, reconciled, worthy individual. You follow me? Is any of this making sense? Just for one person? Cool. At least part of it. So that's what I offer you this morning. And you know the benefit of that is that we live, our path, our footsteps, our being is a little bit lighter each day. There's still going to be days where it's all messed up. A lot of them. But we can deal with it with a clearer thinking, with a calmer heart, with a more expectancy of good. And near as I can tell at this point, that's what life is about for me, is I want to walk a little bit softer. I want to be a little bit kinder. And I want to be able to see the beauty a little bit more. There's a lightness of being in that. And I'm so grateful I got to experience one of those moments this morning with that song. With that moment of prayer. I got all I need. I got all I need for a while, man. My tank is full. I know I say man a lot, and it's a habit, forgive me. It's less of an acknowledgement of sex and more an acknowledgement of something. I don't know what. I don't know what the word is, but anyway, I just wanted to say that because I've said it a lot. So let's take a moment and pray, shall we? Let's take a moment and deal with ourselves. Greg, you want to come on up, baby? Thank you. Would you guys, Tiffany, and would you come up and do and Laura, and do can you do that thing again? That voodoo that you do so well? Because I have the microphone and I can ask for what I want right now. Is that all right? Get the microphones going.
Yes.
And let's just do that. Can we do that thing?
Can I just share something?
Of course.
Laura is actually Nora with an N.
Lauren?
No, Nora.
Nora.
Yeah,
Oh, forgive me. Nora with an N.
Okay. Yes, it's okay.
I love it. No, good. We want to make sure. Our name it's an acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Nora.
Nora. Take my mind and take my pain, like an empty bottle takes the rain, and heal,
And take my past and take my sins, like an empty bottle takes the wind, and heal,
and tell me some things last.
me something's
Take my heart and take your hand, like an ocean takes the dirty sand, and heal, help
and take my mind and take my pain, like an empty bottle takes the rain, and heal, and tell me something's
and tell me something's less.
and tell me something's less, and tell me something's
That is the sweet spot. I'm grateful for this time. I know it is already as blessed as it will ever be. We simply have eyes to see and ears to hear, and a brain and a mind and a heart to recognize what is already so, that something lovely is happening in this place for each of us. That we embrace it, we nurture it, we see it, we acknowledge it, we love on it, and then we let it go. That all and more may be healed today as well. For all of this, I am grateful, and I do call it good. And so it is. Amen.